The first sign of something extraordinary was not the tremor in the cosmic background, nor the flicker on Earth's deep space sensors. It was the hush that fell over every human soul, from the crowded markets of New Delhi to the snowy peaks of the Siberian archaeological belt. On the morning of July 11th, 2125, as dawn painted the horizon of Earth with burnished gold, every human being, no matter how far-flung their outpost, felt a subtle stirring in the marrow of their bones, a silent summons they could neither see nor hear, but wholeheartedly knew. In orbit above the Pacific Rim, aboard the ISS Vanguard, Admiral Mailing Vargas was finishing her sunrise inspection of the command deck when the first official signal arrived. The screens, normally aglow with routine telemetry, snapped to life with another worldly symbol, a translucent, multifaceted seal that shimmered in impossible hues of violet and emerald. Surrounding it danced countless tiny sigils, each representing a civilization far more ancient than humanity. "Report," Vargas ordered, her voice steady, though her heart pounded. For over a century, humanity had listened and watched for the voices of alien intelligence. Now, at last, they were speaking. Lieutenant Rajiv Mahato at Communications replied, "We're decoding it, Admiral. It's a holographic summons from the Intergalactic Concordium." Dr. Elena Roscoff, the ship's chief xenopsychologist, stepped forward. "The Concordium, the Supreme Council of Sentient Species. They've existed in myth and legend in our archives for centuries. If this is genuine, we've been invited." Vargas nodded. "Patch it through to Earth Command. Get everyone aboard prepared for immediate departure." Earth Command, housed in the rebuilt United Nations facility in Geneva, erupted into breakfast and into frenetic activity. Flags of every nation rippled in artificial breezes along the Grand Hall, where representatives scrambled to decipher the seal's message. President Amina El Khoury herself presided over the emergency session, her dignified presence a beacon in the sea of unease. "Admiral Vargas," she began, her voice echoing in the chamber, "what are we dealing with?" "Madam President," Vargas replied via secure hololine, "the Concordium wants us to attend the Grand Assembly. They've set the location at the Celestial Spire, orbiting within the Orion Calixus Nebula. They issue this as a formal tribunal, some kind of judgment or evaluation of humanity." A hush fell. Around the hall, leaders exchanged astonished glances. Some leaned forward, fingers steepled. Others paled, recalling mankind's tumultuous history of conquest and war. "Judgment?" muttered Foreign Minister Laylam Batha of South Africa. "After all we've been through, they still consider us uncivilized?" President El Khoury raised a hand. "Or they might see potential, an opportunity perhaps. We must proceed with caution and with unity. Inform the world. Every spacefaring vessel is to rendezvous with the Vanguard. We leave in 48 hours. 2 days later, the Armada assembled. Earth's fleet leaders, scientific research vessels, concerned envoys, and even merchant freighters bearing diplomats and observers. Over 600 ships, representing humanity's combined might and curiosity, slid through the cold embrace of slipspace corridors toward the nebula. Admiral Vargas stood on the Vanguard's forebridge, flanked by Captain Arjun Patel, chief envoy to the Concordium, and Dr. Roscoff. Through the panoramic observation viewport, the Orion Calixus Nebula emerged a swirling tapestry of indigo and cerulean gases illuminated by newborn stars. It throbbed with luminous tendrils, weaving through the void like living veins. "Beautiful," whispered Patel, awe coloring his tone. "I never imagined we'd witness something like this." Vargas remained silent, studying the readings. "Stay focused," she cautioned. "We don't know what they expect of us." Hovering at the nebula's edge was the Celestial Spire, a crystalline monolith nearly 1,000 kilometers tall. Carved from an alien gemstone, that refracted every wavelength of light. It rotated slowly, as though surveying the space around. It and the core of its structure pulsed with rhythmic light, like the heartbeat of a cosmic leviathan dot around the spire. A flotilla of alien vessels, each unlike any human design, assembled in perfect orbit. Some resembled organic coral formations. Others floated like metallic petals, their surfaces etched with shifting runes. Their silent vigil lent an eerie serenity to the scene. At 0800 ship time, the Vanguard's comms officer activated the agreed-upon channel. The holographic seal reappeared, accompanied by a chorus of harmonized voices, layered tones that resonated in the mind rather than the ears. People of soul, intoned the Grand Arbiter, an entity whose form defied fixed definition, a fractal orb of shimmering planes and arcs that refracted itself endlessly. For millennia, we have observed your species, your triumphs of spirit, your self-destructive follies, your capacity for both creation and annihilation. Now, at this nexus of your evolution, we summon you to stand before the Grand Assembly. Enter our hall not as conquerors nor as supplicants, but as equals under the gaze of the stars. Captain Patel swallowed. We come in peace, bearing representatives of all Earth's nations. Proceed, the Arbiter's form beckoned, a tendril of light extending through the void. Our doors stand open. With a nod from Vargas, the Vanguard ignited its thrusters and slid forward, cutting through the nebular haze. Behind them, every ship followed, forming a comet-like train of human aspiration. As they passed through the nebula's heart, time seemed to stretch. The crew felt the weight of history pressing upon them, the hopes of billions back home, the fragile peace that bound humanity's nations, the fear that they might falter before these ancient sentients. On the bridge, Dr. Roscoe closed her eyes. Remember, she murmured, they judge not just our technology, but our spirit. They listen to our intentions. Vargas met her gaze. Then we must show them the best of us. And so, with engines humming and hearts resolute, humanity's envoy crossed the threshold. The colossal gates of the celestial spire yawned open a pathway of light and memory that would carry them toward a verdict capable of reshaping their destiny among the stars. The interior of the celestial spire's grand hall was an expanse of living light. No walls confined it, only the vastness of space and the ever-shifting nebula glow that seeped through crystalline fractures overhead. Platforms of translucent metal hovered at precise intervals, each one carrying a delegation from 100,000 worlds. Their shapes and sizes varied as wildly as their occupants. Some platforms rippled like pools of mercury, others resembled giant fractal flowers, each petal inscribed with the stories of entire civilizations. Humanity's own platform, a squat oval disc stamped with Earth's seal, drifted into place near the center. Admiral Vargas, clad in her ceremonial white and gold uniform, stepped forward alongside Captain Arjun Patel and Dr. Elena Roscoe. Their hearts thundered in their chests, yet their faces remained calm, masks of resolve. A low hum vibrated through every molecule of air. Then, from the far reaches of the hall, the Grand Arbiter emerged, a kaleidoscope of shifting geometry. Its form neither solid nor liquid, but something beyond human comprehension. As it approached, the myriad voices that formed its consciousness melded into a single resonant tone. People of Earth, it intoned, its voice both everywhere and nowhere. We have watched your species with keen interest. We observed your wars, your triumphs of science, your art, and your capacity for both compassion and cruelty. We have waited for this moment when you stand among us to receive our judgment. A hush fell. Captain Patel cleared his throat, surging ahead. Great Arbiter, on behalf of all humanity, we stand ready to answer whatever questions you pose. We seek understanding and acceptance among the Concordium. The Arbiter's facets split into thousands of miniature prisms that surveyed the humans directly. You arrived at interstellar capability in your year, 2123, by your reckoning 240 years after your first tentative steps into orbit. In this short period, you have launched 9,000 vessels, contacted 5 other species, and never once captured a world, nor enslaved another sentient race. Its form paused, then swirled with quiet enthusiasm. This is remarkable. Many species reach beyond their cradle world only to harvest and subjugate. You have not. You have traded, studied, and allied. You have sometimes faltered your conflicts. Would the Xylon mining colonies stand as testament, but those were disputes over resources, not conquests. Dr. Roscoe felt the weight of the Arbiter's gaze. We have learned, through hardship, that cooperation yields greater prosperity than domination. We strive to build bridges, not walls. Indeed, the Arbiter replied. Therefore, we find you, harmless in intention, though potent in capability. A ripple of whispers spread through the human delegation. Harmless? It felt unexpectedly delicate, even patronizing. Admiral Vargas lifted her chin. Harmless is not weakness, she said, voice steady. We possess great power and choose restraint. Our aim is to protect life on Earth and beyond. The Grand Arbiter's core brightened. Your restraint is the crux. And so, in recognition of this virtue, we extend to you a gift. Light flowed from its form, tracing elegant arcs through the hall. 29 uninhabited worlds, each a living planet, teeming with potential, are hereby deeded to the humans of Earth. Use them to foster life, knowledge, and enlightenment. Ethereal maps materialized before the human platform, showing luminous spheres labeled with provisional designations. E29, Eudaimonia, a water world of phosphorescent algae. 10 to 13 Xylon, with mountains rich in crystalline ores. TO7, Thalassa, its lavender seas broken by drifting islands. And 26 more, each with its own wonders. The names glowed briefly, awaiting humanity's final christening. Captain Patel's eyes seemed to glow with unshed tears. This generosity is beyond anything we could have hoped for. We are honored and humbled. From the Arbiter's fractal form emanated warmth. We do not reward weakness, but promise. These worlds are your trust. Should you squander them through greed or folly, the Concordium will revoke your status and reclaim what we have given. Dr. Roscoe leaned in, voice hushed yet resolute. We accept this charge. We will prove worthy. Around them, other species shifted. Some, like the towering crystalline Cathari, clapped their elongated limbs in applause. Others, slender, tree-like Lantari, illuminated their canopies in gentle bioluminescence. But not all welcomed Earth's boon. The Vrenthos, an insectoid brood of ruthless pragmatists who mined entire moons for energy, clicked their mandibles in disapproval. Their envoy's platform lurched slightly, as if bristling. The Grand Arbiter's voice cut through the rising murmur. Earth has been judged. Let this day mark your ascension from nascent explorers to responsible stewards. May your actions prove our faith justified. With that, the chamber dimmed and the floating platforms detached. Humanity's delegation drifted back to their ship with the holographic treaty sealed in their memory banks. A heavy silence settled over the crew as they processed the magnitude of what had transpired. On the Vanguard's bridge, Admiral Vargas exhaled, voice soft. 29 worlds. If even half of them thrive, it will reshape our destiny. Captain Patel tapped the treaty's data module. And yet the Arbiter warned, should you squander them, we must ensure we do not repeat the mistakes of our past. Dr. Roscoe closed her eyes, picturing the planets. Imagine the knowledge we can glean from their untouched ecosystems. The breakthroughs in medicine, ecology, and understanding life itself. But consider the potential for conflict, Vargas countered. Nations will vie for the best worlds. Corporations will lobby for exclusive rights. We must prepare Earth's governments for fierce debates, perhaps fierce enough to fracture us. Silence fell, broken only by the hum of the ship's engines as the celestial spire faded behind them. Below, the nebula's glowing tendrils retreated, as though the cosmos itself sighed in relief after a momentous tribunal. High above Earth, the ISS, Vanguard, and its convoys sped homeward, carrying the seeds of humanity's future and the weight of cosmic expectation. As stars streaked past the viewport, each crew member knew that their true journey had only just begun. The galaxy had deemed them harmless and paid them with planets. The question now was whether humanity could rise to the occasion. When the ISS, Vanguard re-entered Sol's sphere of influence, its crew detected an undercurrent of unease rippling across the planet. The news of 29 gifted worlds had spread like wildfire, igniting both hope and discord. From the glass-topped towers of New Singapore to the floating habitats above the Amazon basin, humanity was divided between soaring ambition and paralyzing anxiety. The summit of competing dreams in Geneva, the United Earth Council convened an unprecedented session. The Grand Hall expanded to accommodate representatives from every Earth-based government and even a handful of non-profit coalitions, hummed with tension. President Amina El Khoury began, voice ringing in the vast chamber. We stand at the threshold of a new epoch. These planets are not spoils of war, but symbols of trust. We must honor that trust with unity. Before her, Minister of Industry Viktor Ivanov of the Eurasian Federation countered, Madam President, these worlds hold the rarest resources in the galaxy. Our crying need for energy and raw materials demands that we secure them swiftly. To delay is to squander our competitive edge. Minister Lilim Batha of the African Union rose next. And what of sustainability? Earth's history is littered with habitats ravaged by short-sighted profit. We have only one home. We cannot repeat our mistakes on new worlds. Debate raged through the day and into the night. Nations jockeyed for the most promising planets. Xylon, with its crystalline deposits. Eudaimonia, with its bioluminescent seas. And Thalassa, whose drifting archipelagos invited both colonists and pirates. Smaller countries formed coalitions to leverage influence, while powerful corporations lobbied for exclusive mining rights, promising to fund public programs in exchange. Amidst the rancor, a slender voice spoke up. Dr. Elena Roskov, representing the Galactic Commons Initiative, pleaded for a moratorium. Let us first understand these worlds. Send uncrewed probes to catalog biospheres, assess ecosystems, chart weather patterns. We owe it to future generations to steward these gifts, not plunder them. Her proposal won a narrow majority in the Environmental Caucus, but fell short of the two-thirds needed to enact a moratorium. The summit adjourned with a tentative compromise. The first three planets, Eudaimonia, Xylem, and Thalassa, would be overseen by multinational councils. The rest would be parceled out under Earth's new Terran Planetary Authority, with oversight but no firm mandates. 2. The first expeditions with bureaucratic wheels grinding into motion. The Vanguard's sister ships, scientific vessels, cargo, freighters, and terraforming scouts set out for the opening trio of worlds. On Eudaimonia, the USS Aurelia established Station Galatea, a sleek platform straddling the coral-like reef. Under biologist Dr. Marceline Ong's leadership, robotic submersibles dove into phosphorescent waters, returning with samples of airborne plankton that glowed like living lanterns. Geneticists hailed the discovery of new amino chains, potential. Keys to revolutionary medical therapies. Yet even here, discord surfaced. Private surveyors illegally harvested deep-sea specimens under cover of night, selling them on the black market to bioengineering firms back on Earth. Dr. Ong confronted the smuggler's sleek cutter, demanding they cease. "You threaten not only the reef, but our credibility with the Concordium," she warned. The smugglers laughed, vanishing into the shadow of Eudemonia's moonlit horizon. Further afield, on Xylon, the mining magnate Helios Corp erected massive drilling rigs to tap crystalline veins. Workers in exosuits drilled kilometers into the planet's crust, extracting luminous stones that pulsed with untapped energy. Helios Corp promised Earth a new era of fusion power, but rumors stoked unease among the Cathari advisors, who cautioned that Xylon's crystals might be integral to maintaining the planet's electromagnetic equilibrium. On Thalassa, Drift Island, communities formed under Governor Annika Santos. She envisioned floating farms, tethered laboratories, and aquatic highways for sleek submersibles. Yet piracy quickly surfaced. The so-called Blue Maw, a ragtag flotilla of mercenaries, seized cargo. Ships demanding tribute in newly minted soul credits. Santos struggled to assemble a defense force, pleading with Earth Command for naval support. III. Fractures and factions back on Earth. The Terran Planetary Authority wrestled with the first cracks in its mandate. Foreign Minister Mbatha, heading the authority's ethics committee, lambasted the ease with which corporations bypassed environmental protocols. "Our lack of enforcement mechanisms makes a mockery of our ideals," she declared in a televised address, her voice amplified across continents. In response, industrial lobbyists retaliated with viral campaigns, branding environmentalists as bots, anti-human. "We can't heal old wounds by shackling new opportunities," thundered Viktor Ivanov at a press conference. Pro-expansion rallies drew massive crowds, waving banners, "Expand or perish," and progress knows no planet. Amid the headlines, a shadowy group calling itself the Concordium's Justiciars emerged, claiming to act on behalf of the galaxy's original custodians. They sabotaged the missile defenses around Thalassa and planted explosives on a Helios Corp drilling platform on Xylon. Their anonymous communiques warned, "Humanity has been deemed harmless. Do not prove them wrong." The authorities scrambled a special enforcement fleet. The political infighting hampered decisive action. Some nations saw the Justiciars as allies in the environmental struggle. Others decried them as terrorists. IV. The tipping point in orbit above Earth, Admiral Vargas convened an emergency council aboard the Vanguard. Captain Patel, Dr. Roscoe, and representatives from the authority joined her. "We are at a crossroads," Vargas opened. "The Concordium's gift has become our greatest challenge. If we cannot manage these planets responsibly, we risk losing not just resources, but our credibility and our place in the galaxy." Dr. Roscoe nodded gravely. "We need stricter oversight. Environmental safeguards written into every contract. Independent Concordium observers stationed on each world. Legal protections against unilateral corporate action." Captain Patel added, "We also need to unite public opinion. People need to see these planets as shared heritage, not commodities." Their proposals met fierce opposition in the authorities' boardroom. Yet news of the Justiciars' latest strike, a bomb that leveled a research outpost on Thalassa, swayed the undecided. Under mounting pressure, the authority approved a comprehensive Planetary Stewardship Act, empowering Earth's Supreme Court to adjudicate conflicts and placing Concordium liaisons on every settlement. Seeds of Hope. As Chapter 3 drew to a close, humanity took its first shaky steps toward true stewardship. Under the Stewardship Act, Station Galatea on Eudaimonia became the first planet to achieve certified Concordium safe haven status. its illegal harvesters replaced by licensed labs collaborating with alien biologists. On Xylon, helioscopes, rigs were refitted with carbon-neutral energy converters, and a multinational oversight board, including Cathari scientists, was inaugurated. Thalassa's flotillas joined the Sol Naval Expeditionary Force, safeguarding trade routes and forging uneasy truces with local Blue Maw crews, some of whom accepted formal charters to protect the island's dot in the twilight of Earth's greatest debate. A fragile harmony began to emerge. Humanity had not yet mastered the politics of planetary stewardship, nor stifled every echo of greed. But with treaties signed, safeguards enacted, and the eyes of the Concordium upon them, they set forth with cautious optimism. The price of benevolence had been steep: political upheaval, corporate greed, and the shadow of sabotage. Yet in those fractures lay the seeds of a new order, one where cooperation, rather than conquest, might define the human legacy among the stars. And as the Vanguard slipped away from Earth's orbit once more, its crew carried a renewed determination to prove that the galaxy's faith in humanity had not been misplaced. Foundations of the Terran colonies. 2 years after the Celestial Spire's verdict, humanity's efforts bore their first fruits. The United Earth-Terran Colonies, UETC, formally chartered the 29 worlds as a federated cluster. Each planet was governed by a planetary council composed of human representative scientists, diplomats, civic leaders, and Concordium liaisons, veterans of elder species who mentored in cross-cultural diplomacy, environmental stewardship, and interstellar law. On Eudaimonia, the inaugural council convened in the iridescent bioluminescent form, its benches carved from living crystal that glowed with every word spoken. Dr. Marceline Ong presided over deliberations on marine reserves, water quality standards, and ethical bioprospecting. Her first decree designated 100,000 square kilometers of phosphorescent reef as a living archive, protected from human interference forever. Across the galaxy on Xylon, the council chambers hovered in a belt of synthetic atmosphere, above the crystalline mines. Here, the Cathari liaison Arvale and human engineer Marisol Cheng negotiated the installation of electromagnetic stabilizers devices that harvested the planet's natural crystal resonance to power the colony, eliminating reliance on terraforming reactors. The architecture blended human minimalism with Cathari fractal artistry, each spire a testament to cooperation. On Thalassa, Governor Annika Santos oversaw the conversion of salvaged Blue Maw vessels into the Thalassan Guardian Fleet, a civilian-staffed maritime force that protected cargo convoys and policed illegal salvage. Former pirates, now peacekeepers clad in cobalt blue exosuits, stood watch over floating towns tethered by graceful suspension cables. 2. The Concordium Research Hub. At the heart of the new constellation lay planet Arcadia, chosen for its placid skies and temperate climate. Here, the UETC established the Concordium Research Hub, a sprawling campus of interconnected domes and open plazas designed to foster collaboration among species. Under the direction of Admiral Mei Ling Vargas, now commander of interstellar diplomacy, Arcadius, Central Institute launched projects that had once been the stuff of theoretical physics. Symbiotic fusion reactors co-designed by human plasma physicists and Lanteri bioengineers, which integrated living algae strands into the reactor's cooling circuits, boosting efficiency and reducing waste heat. The membrane of minds, a cautious experiment in neural interfacing, pairing human subjects with Cathari knowledge nodes to accelerate learning of alien languages and cultural nuance. Early trials yielded unprecedented fluency within days, though ethical debates about cognitive privacy raged on Earth. Stellar Plague Initiative, uniting xenovirologists from 5 species to catalog and neutralize spaceborne pathogens, a direct Response to the 2119 trend outbreak that had devastated 3 Mayan colonies. Arcadia's plazas thrummed with alien and human inhabitants strolling side by side. Street musicians, human flautists, and crystalline-stringed Idenari trios played impromptu concerts beneath floating holographic art. Markets offered delicacies from every world: spiced lumafish from eudaimonia, crystallized xylanine sugar, luminescent fungi from the forest moons of SERAPH is.II. Trials of sovereignty, yet progress was never unchallenged. On planet Lysandra, designated the cultural capital of the UETC, tensions rose when the first interplanetary film festival showcased a human-produced holodrama that inadvertently caricatured the Vrenthos insectoid society. Outrage rippled through Vrenthos delegations, who threatened to withdraw their Concordium liaison and impose trade embargoes on Lysandra's crystalline art exports. Commander Vargas brokered emergency talks. The film was withdrawn pending review, and Lysandran artists attended workshops on respectful representation, led by Vrenthos cultural ministers. The incident underscored the fragile trust underpinning the UETC. Even in celebration, a single misstep could reopen ancient wounds. On Navarra, a mineral-rich world early in its development, corporate interests clashed with indigenous rights when the Soul Mining Consortium proposed deep-core drilling that risked collapsing the subterranean cave forest of the native Morali. Violent protests erupted as Morali guardians, tall, bioluminescent sapient beings, blockaded drilling rigs. UETC peacekeepers intervened, and after tense negotiations, a compromise was reached. Mining would proceed only under Morali supervision, and profits shared to fund planetary conservation.iv. Unity in crisis. The ultimate test arrived unexpectedly. The nebula surrounding the celestial spire, once a static backdrop, began to stir. Instruments on Arcadia and eudaimonia detected ripples in the plasma tendrils, signs of an approaching cosmic storm. A hypermagnetic flux surged powerful enough to disrupt FTL corridors and ravage planetary magnetic fields. Concordium scientists warned of potential Dyson-scale eddies, and for the first time, human and alien experts raced side by side to develop protective measures. Arcadia's fusion reactors were reconfigured to generate planet-wide magnetic shields. On Xylan, engineers amplified crystal resonance arrays to divert excessive energy flows. Thalas's Guardian fleet braved galactic tempests to deliver emergency modules to vulnerable outposts. When the storm hit, skies across 14 Terran colonies ignited in auroral displays of swirling purples and emeralds. Communications blinked out, then steadied as shields held firm. In the weeks that followed, damage proved minimal, testament to the foresight of collaborative planning. In a galaxy unaccustomed to such solidarity, news of the colony's unity spread swiftly. The Grand Arbiter herself sent a personal missive. You have faced the galaxy's fury and stood together. You honor the trust we placed in you. May your constellation shine ever brighter. A galaxy of possibility. By the end of the chapter, the Terran colonies had matured into a shimmering constellation, a federation that transcended Earth's old borders. Students from every world studied together at the Arcadia Academy. Trade. Ships flew regular routes between Eudaimonia's biotech havens and Xylan's energy forges. Artistic collaborations birthed hybrid forms of expression. Holopoetry narrated by human voices alongside Kithari crystal sonic backgrounds. Back on Earth, the blue marble glowed softly in the night sky, no longer humanity's solitary cradle, but the central node of a thriving interstellar network. From lunar observatories, astronomers charted the 29 new planets, their orbits weaving a living tapestry around Sol. In her final log entry, Admiral Vargas reflected, "When first we heard Harmless, it sounded faint praise. Yet, in that word, lay profound potential for restraint, for cooperation, for harmony. We were paid with planets, but gained so much more. The promise of a new constellation, not just of worlds, but of kindred spirits. The galaxy watches, and we, at last, stand worthy. Beneath Arcadia's twin suns, children of all races, human and alien, chased gravity-skimming orbs across emerald fields. Above them, the skies were crisscrossed by the graceful arcs of interstellar lyres. In that moment, the legacy of humanity's reckoning shimmered like the nebula beyond, bright, boundless, and full of wonder.